All right, so in this video, I want to talk about kind of my story, where I come from, how I got into what I do. Because I was recently asked, Kyle, what is it that you do? I do a lot of things. Most of it revolves around marketing technology today. But I come from Seattle. I was raised in Kent, city of about 180,000 people. Now I live in a town in Hull, Iowa, which is about 2,500 people, no stoplights. We are just getting another new grocery store here, so some big changes. But I grew up in Seattle and started playing with technology at my church. When I was about 14 years old, through a bunch of lawn mowing money, I was able to save up for a Dell 1525 Inspiron. And my dad said, "Hey, Kyle, throughout this, don't just play Age of Empires on it, but learn to use the technology. Learn to make it work for you." And that stuck with me for the past 15 years, 16 years that it's been. So by 12 years old, I was the go-to guy for lawn mowing around our neighborhood. Dad was very well connected, very extroverted, so he would find all sorts of lawn mowing jobs for me, from Mr. Johnston down the street to Mrs. Vaden and so forth. So we had a lot of fun taking care of that. But one thing that was really pivotal to be able to expand that business back in the day was my cousin moving out of the state was gifted me his 1989 Chevy S10, which is 22 years old at the time that I got it. So through Seattle rains, I learned how to strip that thing down to nothing in the middle or nothing on the inside, the upholstery, take everything out, dry it out, and then put it back together all within about an hour and a half. Strip it down at night and then let it dry out overnight, and then put it back in. Head to school in the morning. So it's a fun event with older trucks, older vehicles. But then at 13 years old, I joined up with martial arts club. My dad said, "Hey, Kyle, you need to get your energy out over here." So over the next 4 years, I earned a brown belt doing mixed martial arts. At Lions Way Martial Arts on off 240th in Kent. But that taught me a lot of discipline and focus, which was really pivotal in that time. So at 14, I started working for probably the biggest client that I had up to that point was just Ruth Ann Sorensen. We basically learned together on how to build concrete rubble walls for her property. We've probably built 1,000 foot of concrete walls, ranging from, I don't know, a foot and a half high to 3 feet high, something like that. But basically, where you get a bunch of broken up driveways from concrete removal companies or concrete replacement companies, and they'll drop off the concrete for free because they're looking for a place to dump it. And then you learn to shape those pieces with a hammer and chisel, 2.5 pound sledge, and then create your wall out of those shaped pieces. So I remember beating on a piece of concrete for a few hours, making sure it's the right shape to fit in there well. So that was a fun deal. Very calloused hands after that. But during that was all through high school. And then I did, for the last 2 years of high school, I did running start, did 2 years at the local community college, got my A degree. At 19, I moved out to Dort College in Iowa. It's a town just south of here now, but now it's Dort University, where I majored in philosophy and theology. And then after that, I did a bunch of different odd jobs trying to find my place, finding from high school maintenance to cheese factory to direct support for mentally handicapped. But then over time, I found the digital world just like kept popping up. I started an e-commerce store in 2017. That didn't work very well. And then through a series of other courses, I connected with a blog creator who generated leads for his course. And so I worked for him for 2 years, learned a lot of SEO skills from that. Then I worked remotely for an agency back in Seattle. It's really nice to have that time change because they start at 8 a.m. PST, which is 10 a.m. my time, which means I get to sleep in. So, but then I worked as an SEO specialist for them, managing about $25,000 to $35,000 of monthly recurring revenue for them. At that same time, though, I was learning how to hire people, learning how to build a remote team and manage those people overseas. And so I've had people working with me for going on 5 years now over in the Philippines. So that's where we started off with a few websites, and now we've built over 3,500 local business websites on all sorts of different platforms, from Weebly to Wix to Duda, WordPress, you name it. We've probably built something on it at one point or another. So, but then what was fun to do last year was I helped my brother-in-law, he works at a local nonprofit. They were paying a lot of and hosting fees, and I was able to get them save 50% plus on their monthly hosting fees. So giving back makes a difference to me a lot. I really enjoy that. But then the latest has been I've been working with ChatGPT, or more largely OpenAI, on creating custom GPTs, which is basically creating a certain bot that does certain tasks when prompted by a user. So I've built them for influencers, a database for my church, because I was like, okay, how do I learn this? Well, I took all the YouTube transcripts for the last few months on our church YouTube channel, uploaded them as a reference for that bot to review, and then you can ask questions also that, well, okay, what were the passages that were used over the last 3 months? What were the passages that were used in the sermons? What were the songs that were sung that accompanied those sermons, right? So then over time, you can create a valuable database for any type of given institution. So based upon their public information that they have, such as their YouTube channels, right? So ultimately, this journey has been about continually learning. I've probably put out $70,000, $80,000 in education post college to learn these different skills. So, but from mowing lawns to navigating the digital world, every step has been about learning and growing. And that's really my story. So if you got questions, reach out. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.